It's the PokerNews Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 845th episode of the PokerNews Podcast. I am Chad Holloway at Level 9 Studio in Las Vegas, joined this week by Kyna England, back in studio, and our special guest, the WPT Global Ambassador, Brad Owen.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun show. World Series of Poker is happening right now. The main event is literally happening as we're sitting here. It is the last chance for players to get in. I think there's probably another 2 hours left of late reg, and it's getting close to setting a new record. So last year was 10,043 runners. As of like 5 minutes ago, KevMath shared we're about 5 people away from 10,000.
Oh, wow.
So you guys think it's going to get there? Yeah, like we need 45 more people.
There's always some people that like do the max, right? Because you have do you have one level or two to buy in? Two. Yeah. So still a few more hours. You never know. And I heard that it's kind of madness out there too. Like there lots of late reg lines, people getting in. They had a late start, I think, too, because they're breaking tables, trying to make new tables. But hopefully they break records doing it.
Yeah, what do you think, Brad? Did you expect the main event to get as large as it did last year? I was not quite so bullish, to be honest.
I was pretty optimistic about it. I feel like there's so many people promoting poker right now with the streamers and people on YouTube and whatever, TikTok and all that stuff. I just feel like poker is as big as it's ever been, and the numbers are certainly showing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like GG gave out like 1,100 packages or something. That's like 10% of the entries they were just giving out for satellites and everything. So
it's just crazy that 10,000 is like, is this the new norm? Like, because in 2006 when Jamie Gold won, it was like 8,800 or something like that.
Wow.
And now it's like, 10,000, just like that. I don't know. I thought it was going to get like 9,500 in this slow starts to day 1A and 1B. We all played day 1A. None of us really had any luck, right? You two busted. I made it today too, but very short, and then busted yesterday. But I don't know. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on? Obviously, we all register right at the get go, and we've had this conversation before, kind of about like late regging.
Yeah.
Did you start on time? Did you late reg? Do you like to late reg? Would you late reg the main event?
I registered about an hour into level 2. And then I busted about 30 minutes into level 3.
Oh, no.
So honestly, my head wasn't in the right place. A couple things happened before I played that didn't put me in a good mindset. And then, kind of just like punt called in this situation. We don't have to go through the hand history, but
sometimes it's just not your day. You know, that's what I told myself. It's just not always your day. Like sometimes you're just set up for failure and we can't all win, right?
Yeah.
About a third of the people bust on the first day. But we talked about the late reg before, and I think maybe next year I might register day 2. I don't know. It stings to
you get 60 big blinds on day 2.
75, I think. 75, because it starts at 800, right?
But yeah, you could register the level 2 of day 2.
Oh, yeah,
and that would be
right.
60 big blinds, I think.
Max pain. I don't know how to think about it.
That's a ton of big blinds, but you want to be there to catch all the punts from, some of the recreational players and some of the guys who are just going wild. Also, some of the folds that I've seen are ridiculous, like full houses to quads.
Yeah, there was some really insane hands where I know one guy had rivered, I think, kings full of queens or something, and the guy raised him and he just
opened up.
He thought he had pocket queens or something for quads. I don't know.
Right.
Wasn't shown, but I'm like, I go bust there if he had quads.
If the guy didn't show who won the pot, right?
Right.
And so I tend to think if he's not showing in that spot, he probably had quads. Otherwise, you show and put the opponent on tilt to hopefully have him blast off the rest of his stack who folded kings.
On the other side of it, sometimes people are like, look at my hand. Like they want to show that they made quads. They want people to be impressed. They're like, look, I have quads. Like, I don't know. I think it might be the other way around. Like he didn't have it because he didn't show.
I think it's incredibly embarrassing if someone lays down top full house to you and you have quads.
Well, the main event, as this episode comes out, registration will be closed. You can go to pokernews.com, see the official prize pool and the number. Think it's going to get there, but it is going to be very close. Regardless, it will be either the largest ever or the second largest ever, which is pretty incredible. Unfortunately, as we've said, none of us are there, but there are some big names left. So as we're recording this, it is day 2D that is taking place. Yesterday, the first 3 starting flights combined for day 2. I busted really early, I think an hour into play. It was really short stacked, but I'm looking over some of the players who did have some success there. John Hennigan, of course, a Poker Hall of Famer, 7-time bracelet winner is still in there. Frank Finaro.
Oh,
he's my
good
boy.
For
I
Frank.
love Frank. Yeah.
Frank's in there. Nacho Barbero, Hossein Ensan, a former champ. Bin Wang, who just crushes everything. Adrian Mateos, Eric Seidel. Just still a lot of crushers in this field. I want to go down. I'm going to scroll to the Poker News updates and see who busted because I like, misery likes company, right?
That's like the first thing. I was really upset on the phone with my friend after I busted, and this is not going to make you feel better, but she's like, let's look and see what other notable players busted. It'll make you feel better. And she's like, Brad Owen busted. I'm like, okay. I mean, just because
that's all right.
You want a little company with your misery when you bust early on day one, I don't know.
Yeah, I looked at my Twitter messages and Kyna was in there. She hadn't messaged me for like weeks. All of a sudden, I just get a random pop-up. It says GG and like 2 blonde people dancing together.
The twins emoji.
I'm like, what the fuck is this about? And then all of a sudden, I saw her tweet that she put out. She saw that she had busted, so I was like, okay, it makes sense now.
See, it's just a little bit of company. You're like, okay, but
but I wasn't thinking about it, and then I got your message out of nowhere, and it forced me to.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, a bunch of former main event champs did bust yesterday on day 2 ABC. Jamie Gold, he's gone. Joe Hashem, gone. Chris Moneymaker, gone. Wynn, gone. And a guy we're going to talk about a lot in a minute, Phil Hellmuth. Unfortunately, I am sad about that. I think it's good when Phil Hellmuth comes.
After 4 betting a 9 deuce?
Yeah.
4 betting a 9 deuce and he somehow busted?
He did.
So what happened in that hand? I saw a picture of it, but the guy, his opponent had ace-10 offsuit, and then
I didn't see this one. I don't know.
I just saw a screenshot of it, people making fun of him, because he 4-bet 9 deuce. Probably the guy folded.
White magic,
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's good. He uses his image to his credit sometimes. So Michael Mizrahi, he's gone. We were just talking about him off air. Ryan DePaulo, he's out.
He's out?
Yeah, maybe
I thought he was playing today.
It's he busted yesterday. Patrick Leonard, Connor Drynan. Lots of people. I mean, that's what happens, right? This thing is going to be day 3. We were also saying off the air, I mean, we're a week away from the WSOP being over, essentially 10 days from right now.
Yeah. Closer is in a week, so that's what I was looking at playing next.
I'm relying on the flip and go to save my summer, so I'm gonna head there after this, and
that's always a really fun one to watch. I've never played it. I played it one time. The first year it came out, I played it because they had seats open and Daniel Negreanu was sitting there doing one after another. And they're like, we have one more seat. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. Just because I wanted to be in the Daniel vlog. And I think it was actually ended up being the one that he won that I was in. So I was like, oh man, that's so cool. I'm in the vlog. That's the only time I ever played it though.
Yeah.
Didn't Scott Seaver play 27 or 40 times or something like that? Some legendary number.
Yeah, and just had to fire away and needed to get 5th in the tournament to break even. Something crazy like that. But I know it's this, I'm the same way. If I play a slot machine, I'm going to play it until I hit the bonus.
Right.
And it's even if I got to, keep throwing money at it, know I'm going to lose, but I want to hit that bonus. He probably just got in his head, I am going to fire as many times as it takes until I win one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, once you're done with 15, you're surely I'm going to win the next one.
Let's talk about Phil Hellmuth. He made some grand entrance, as he usually does, on day 1C. I was there. We watched the video off air, so we were prepared for this. I'm going to show the viewers, first off, a little video I took behind the scenes to set it up, and then we'll show you the Poker News footage of Hellmuth actually going to the stage. Here they are. All right, you get a little behind-the-scenes look of the madness that is a Phil Hellmuth entrance to the World Series of Poker. He's dressed up in karate gear. He's got Scotty Wynn, Mike Madisell, Jeff Gross, Shannon Elizabeth, the actress, is here. Lots of people, kind of chaos. It's day 1C. Players are coming back from a break, and they're about to go marching down the hall. Dan Cates is here. Apparently there's going to be a fight scene. This is the behind-the-scenes, and Poker News is going to show you the whole shebang in much higher quality. Check it out.
They are playing. Song is playing. Song is playing. All right, let's go. They're coming in. They're going. Yeah, they're walking. They're coming in.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've now hit your favorite part of the World Series above the main event. For the better part of 30 years, this man has fought for chips, kicking, punching, and sometimes verbally assaulting his opponents. Similar to poker, martial arts are about discipline and technique. And in the game of no win hold'em, this man definitely has a black belt. Mr. Owen with his white magic, accompanied by members of Karate Combat, ready to battle for all the chips. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1989 World Champion and 17-time gold bracelet winner, the Grand Sensei of Poker, Phil Hellmuth Jr. All players, you should keep your receipts. Players and dealers here coming back to the 200 small blind, 400 big blind, 428. Big 4-4, main event dealers, please. Shut up and deal.
All right, so there you have it. Phil Hellmuth doing Phil Hellmuth things. I mean, he had an entourage. Like, I was there as the media. They actually wanted me as a backup to put on one of these karate costumes and maybe go dancing along with them. And I was like, I really don't want to, but I'll do it for Phil. And, but luckily I didn't have to. He had Shannon Elizabeth there, Dan Cates, Scotty Wynn, Mike Mattisau, lots of other people. What do you guys make of this? Was it fun, corny? Kind of, I already see by your face. Yeah.
I think it was a little cringe. Like, I mean, in the past, like some of them have been good. Like in the Bahamas, he came in with all the mermaids. That was cute. Like it was this little bit of a show. This was just like, what are, I don't know. We could have done better, I think. That's just my opinion.
Little lackluster,
Yeah.
Put a little more effort into it. It was kind of not his best one.
Right. Like I'm going to buy a bunch of karate costumes. Who's going to be in my skit? Like,
If like everybody is going to stop this tournament to watch you come in, you better fucking bring it.
Well, of course, it's one of his, Karate Combat is one of the companies, I don't know if he's invested in, helps, advise, whatever it is, but he's, associated with them. So hence the karate gimmick. But I don't know, the branding was hard to tell, right? Like you couldn't see.
I didn't even notice that at all.
And I got to give him credit because in the past, he's come in and done these entrances and like disrupted play. Right. Mm-hmm. At least on this one, they did time it and waited for a break upon returning for the break, which I thought was like, all right, like if you're going to do this sort of thing, at least be respectful and do it in that way. So I think in that regard, it hit the mark. But I don't know. What do you think this ranks among his entrances? You mentioned the one at WSOP Paradise where he was dressed as Aquaman and the mermaids. You had him coming in years ago as Julius Caesar, the NASCAR driving one.
The circus performer, right?
The ringmaster.
With the nipples. That was a good one just because of the nipples, I think.
Yeah, Darth Vader, Gandalf. I don't know. You got a favorite, Brad, of Hellmuth's gimmicks?
Honestly, I'm having a hard time kind of conjuring him up in my memory. But I mean, I do think it's kind of fun that he does it. His name is kind of synonymous with the WSOP, so he kind of deserves to have something special happen for him every year. But this one just wasn't quite up to the level as some of the previous ones. Didn't he do a Star Wars one?
Yeah, he was Darth Vader, which it was a really awkward looking Darth Vader costume. Like it was
tight. I remember.
Yeah, it was like, okay, I guess this is Darth Vader, but it doesn't look like from the movies. So there was a poll on Poker News in the article that we did about his entrance asking, what are your thoughts on Phil Hellmuth's main event entrances? 39% say love it. 21% say hate it, and 40% say don't care either way. So
I think I'm indifferent about it, but it does, it is one little thing that makes stuff a little bit fun. Like, let's insert some fun. But I think if anyone ever usurps him for most bracelets, then they get to take over the show.
I like that.
Yeah, they get to interrupt the whole WSOP main event to come in and enter,
I was actually walking behind the procession next to Phil Hellmuth's wife, Kathy. She's very... she doesn't like the spotlight ever. She's always hanging back, but she was smiling and I kind of just looked at her because I've known Phil for a while in the same circles and have met some of his family throughout the years. And I just kind of looked at her and I'm like, he's just a big kid, isn't he? Like, because as corny as it may be and as much as some people might not like it, like Phil is just, playing with his inner child when he dresses up and gets to come do these things, and the spotlight's on him and he eats it up. He's just like a big kid. So.
Yeah.
It didn't pay off, though. As we mentioned, he was eliminated from the tournament. But, it's been an interesting summer. Negreanu gets his bracelet, Ivy gets a bracelet, and we were all, I think, hoping from a media standpoint, like, okay, if Hellmuth can just get one, it would be like the
trifecta.
Yeah, the trifecta, exactly. And there's still time, but other than that, he hasn't really done much this summer. He's had a couple final tables, but not not in a position to actually get bracelet 18. So
we'll see. Still more summer.
And speaking of trifecta, we're going to talk about the Alpha 8 trifecta that they have going on here in just a moment. But before we do, I want to talk about something that happened on the 4th of July. It was a lot of fun. Big Huni, Chris Hunichin has an annual party, and I got to go for the first time ever. And Kyna, I ran into you there. Brad, I'm guessing you weren't there.
No, I wasn't. I was just kind of hanging out with the baby. But I always hear about it. Legendary party, obviously. So I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say.
I mean, for me, it was a lot of fun. I had to record the show last episode earlier that morning, edit it, and then get over there. And it was, I don't know how to describe it. First off, his place is just incredible. It's like a mansion.
It's like a compound.
Yeah, they call it the compound.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And it was just hundreds of people there, and food and open bar, and just everybody was having fun. I don't know, what did you make of it? You got in the beer pong streets.
It was fun. Yeah, I got there kind of late. I was a little bit in my main event bust out hangover. So, and it was so hot. Oh my God. Like it was like the hottest day. So I got there. Yeah, I played beer pong with Adam Hendricks and lost $20. and then I played like some bags with Camille and some other people, and that was really fun. They had the band going the whole time, the fireworks. It was really chill. It was a good time. Like lots of. I mean, it looks like when you walk in that there's just like massive people, but like outside when you go like to the basketball court or like to the side by the pool and the playground, there are all these things. There are like multiple pools, basketball courts, and playgrounds everywhere. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. The food was great. The drink servers were amazing.
Yeah.
Like they were just going nonstop. It was fun. They had fireworks as the sun went down, which was pretty cool. I didn't actually see Big Huni at all while I was there. I feel like he was probably upstairs holding court or something.
I saw him walking around a little bit. He said his people were doing such a good job running the party that he actually got to like enjoy himself and have a good time.
What about you, Brad? What did you do for the 4th of July? You said you had some baby time, but did you fireworks or anything?
My partner, she's a nurse practitioner, so she was working. I was taking care of the baby, and then when she got off work, we went up to this park near my house and watched some fireworks. Kind of overlooks the strip a little bit. So yeah, we got to enjoy it a bit, but yeah, didn't do anything too big. But I'm more curious about this big Huni party. What were like the big name guys that were there?
I mean, Shannon Shore was there, Jesse Aganuma, Adam Hendricks, my good friend Maurice Hawkins.
Was around
there. A lot of the Poker News guys went there. There were a lot of people that I just, because he sold tickets to whomever. So there was people there who weren't poker related, I'm sure. I'm trying to think. There was a lot of different. Chris Moorman was there. I was chatting with him for a while.
Katie was there.
How much did tickets cost for it?
I think they varied. Like if you bought them in advance, females got a better deal.
The lady tickets were $25, and I think the advanced tickets were $50 for everyone, and then it was like $100 at the door.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
He does it for Halloween too, though, so maybe you hit that up.
Does
usually,
he
usually does. I don't know. Is that a secret? Should I not have said? Oops, Vegas secret.
It was pretty incredible. So big shout out to Big Huni for throwing that. And I know the Poker News crew had a lot of fun. Those that could attend, and they needed it. They've been working hard all summer long, and it was very enjoyable and a great Independence Day, if you will. Speaking of which, there was an Independence Day tournament at the World Series of Poker. This was an $800 buy-in tournament and was won by Francis Anderson, who I believe is a local Las Vegas grinder.
Yeah.
I've heard his name and whatnot. He took it down 4,263 runners, won it for $500,000, $800 into $500,000.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Was there anything special about that tournament? Was it like 8 max, or was it just regular $800 deep stack? Or
I think it was just.
Or was it short?
Yeah, I think it was nothing too special. No? Just Independence Day.
Yeah, okay.
It was a 2-day event. 13 hours of play on day 2 to go to a winner. But big win for him. And another bracelet winner that happened was. I think this one wrapped last night, and Kyna, I believe you played this one. Event number 82, the $1,000 freeze out.
Oh yeah, I did play that one. Oh gosh, it was really fun. It started at 7 p.m. though, and it's like a freeze out, so it was really fun. But I don't think it ended till 4, and I busted at like 2:30 all salty and everything. Okay, it was fun.
Did you play this one?
This was the online one?
No, this was
the freeze out. It was after they made it so that if you bagged day 1D, you could still late reg this 1K freeze out. So that's why it started at 7.
I did see that one. I didn't play that one. I took that one off. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't with a baby be playing that one either.
Right,
probably.
Yeah.
Well, it did get 1,424 runners, and it ended late last night. Aditya Agarwal, poker pro out of India. I've known that name for a long time. Won his first bracelet, $189,000. Frank Lagadish was at that final table, $36,000 for 6th place. And congratulations to those 2 bracelet winners. There's going to be a few more bracelets awarded here in the coming days at the World Series, but there was a little lull there because the main event. There was literally a day where no bracelets were being awarded, and it was only the main event and I think the start of this $1,000 event.
Yeah.
So it's been slow in that regard, but we'll pick up here in the last week. I do want to mention WPT Global, one of the reasons that we're here, and they have a fun series that is about to kick off. We're talking about the WPT Global. It's a pair of online tournament festivals coming throughout July. The Summer Festival is going to take place from July 28th through August 18th with at least $7 million guaranteed. And there is going to be $3 million guaranteed Preheat Festival that is going to run July 12th through the 21st. I haven't had the chance to play on WPT Global, but I know it's picking up steam. People seem to love it.
Yeah, it is. We actually just changed it to an $8 million guarantee for the Summer Festival.
Just another $1 million.
Yeah, there's going to be a $3,500 WPT championship thrown in at the end there too. So, get your name on the Mike Sexton Champions Cup. That's something that I've always kind of been after. But the site's just picking up a lot of steam. We had a $7 million guaranteed series in the spring. We got over 130,000 entrants. So we're pretty optimistic about these next 2 series, and everything's going pretty well on there.
Speaking of the Mike Sexton's Champions Cup, our good friend Josh Reichard etched his name on there right before the series started, but he had a bad experience. I don't know if you guys seen this one. Him and my good friend Mo Nuara, formerly of PokerNews, Josh and him are very good friends. Josh picked him up from the airport, went straight from there to go get lunch at Roma Deli. And while they were there, somebody came and smashed out the window and stole their bags out of the back seat. Josh's personal effects, and then Mo had just flown in. He was going to play the main event and stuff, so he had some money in there too. Fortunately, they filed the police report or what have you, but it's going to be tough. Felt bad for Mo, but the good news is I know Mo very well. He's going to make the best of a bad situation and use that as motivation. And I'll be damned, he's got like $400K in the main event.
Hey, good for him.
So nice. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed because he deserves some run good after that.
Yeah.
Another man who's had a lot of good run good, Dan Sepiol.
He's just a crusher, man.
Crazy.
It's awesome. The run that he's had. Wins the WPT World Championship in December for like over $5 million, almost $6 million, I think. Wins the $1,500 shootout bracelet for $300 or $400K somewhere
in between those 2 things too. He's made like a ton of final tables too. Like I think he went deep in like one of the NAPT events in November too. Like maybe that was before, but like I just remember just keep seeing his face like everywhere that he's just running deep in everything.
Yeah, he's a sicko. Yeah, wins the Trifecta for like almost $600K. Is that right?
Yeah, the WPT Alpha 8 Trifecta. This was the second of 2 $25,000 buy-in tournaments that are taking place over at the Wynn. It was Brock Wilson who won the first one last week, I believe, for $571,000. And the second one, Sepiol did take it on $672,000.
Wow. Yeah, what an awesome summer for him. He's just such a cool guy too. So happy for him.
I remember battling with him at Majestic Star, that really shitty riverboat casino in Chicago, at an MSPT.
He's from our hood, our old
Chicago.
hood. And my very, very first big score was in an Iowa MSPT where I got 3rd, and he won the whole thing, and he busted me on it. So it's like
you
always
feel a little better now. You're like, okay, I lost to Dan Sepiol. It's not.
I mean, at the time, like Danny was just Danny. It's always, and I always make sure and just be like, "Hi, Danny." And I told him now that he's all big time, he still has to say hi to me, and he does. So
yeah,
hi, Danny.
My first time playing with him was 2 years ago in the WPT World Championship. We were both like top 100, and it was cool to see him go back to back and actually close it out that second one.
Yeah. So there's two of those trifecta things, or more
There's
than
three?
Three. Okay.
The trifecta.
That would make more sense, wouldn't it? But what? Okay. But the trophy's like a big 8, so it was like.
Yeah, it's in partnership with Alpha 8.
Alpha 8. Okay.
I'm actually playing the one the day after tomorrow. So July 10th.
The third one.
The third one, yeah. So I kind of joked that the flip and go was hopefully going to save my summer, but this is the biggest tournament that I'm going to be playing of the entire summer. So I'm really looking forward to that. My first ever 25K. I did play at 50K, but yeah, this 25K is something that's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome. Good luck. We're going to be rooting for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Speaking of Sepiol, I pulled it up while you guys were chatting on Hendon Mob just to see his career trajectory. So 2017, he had 60,000 in earnings, 18,000 in 2018, 70,000 in 2019, 83,000 in 2020, and then 476,000 in 2021, 303,000 in 2022, 5.6 million last year, and already 1.4 million this year.
That's
crazy.
Insane, yeah.
And now a WPT champion, a World Series of Poker champion, and now an Alpha 8 champion as well. So
yeah, he's got to go for the Triple Crown, the EBT.
And he's an MSPT champion. That counts too.
That is right. We actually did do, I think, an article. Like, there are very few people who have won WSOP ring, an MSPT title, a WPT, and a World Series of Poker bracelet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's got to be a short list. Yeah. But how many have won a Lodge Championship Series?
That's very true.
Trophy as well.
Speaking of which, tell us what's going on in Texas. The new location is it open now?
We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We just took over the new location. It was formerly Rounders. Now it's the Lodge San Antonio. We're really excited about that. And, it's a pretty sizable space as it is, but we took over the lease next door, which is a much bigger space. So if you've been to the Lodge in Austin, we're basically replicating that in San Antonio. We're going to have probably, shared prize pools for tournaments between Austin and San Antonio. So it gives us an opportunity to do some pretty cool, unique things in the poker world.
Yeah, I got to get down there. We did the Texas road trip for PokerNews. Gosh, this is a couple years ago, and we only got to come to the Lodge for a few hours as we were driving around the state, and it was amazing. Like, and the staff there at the time was great. Like, they took us around. Doug was there, sat with us in the side room, and it's just one of those places I want to spend some more time for sure.
Austin's a really cool poker place because not everyone's a pro out there, so it's like really friendly recreationals who have other jobs and other industries. They go to the Lodge to play, relax. They treat the staff really well. Staff gets tipped well. They're happy. They treat the players really well. It's just kind of like a good cycle.
Yeah. Have you been down to Texas?
I went when they had the first, it was like a 1 million or 2 million guarantee or something, and there were like 8 starting
$1,200 buy-in, or was it like
it
a
might have been
buy-in?
No, it was probably $1,200 because it was like in 2022, I think in January or something, early on in the year. I remember. And I went there, and I had a good time. I was there for like a whole week. And I noticed they'd bring people in to make food and have different kind of food all the time. And you could bring your own alcohol and put it in the fridge. And then it was a great time.
Yeah, we've just put in so much money into the Lodge since that time, actually. I mean, we developed our whole
the studio.
Lodge, our live stream studio. And then we actually bought back the lease of our initial room, which was 2 doors down. And we put tables in there for a while, but we are converting it into a nice bar and restaurant. So,
cool.
That's going to open up in the next few months, and I'm extremely excited about that.
Yeah, awesome. I got an update real quick while we were chatting here. Kev Math has said we are 26 players away from the WSOP main event record. And so I think there's like 90 minutes left, maybe 2 hours left of late reg. So I think we're going to get there. I think it's going to do it.
We'll see.
There's got to be 26 people out there who are like, all right, I'm going to get in there. So
imagine if they changed it to a re-entry.
I mean, it's insane to get 10,000 people in a freeze out willing to put $10,000 on the line.
Right, unique
really
entries.
Impressive.
That's insane. Cool. That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I had a few friends play for the first time, and I said, be prepared to always want to play it. Right, everybody always wants to, but man, I played it from 2013, 14, 15, and 16, and I wanted to play it more, but then work just got in the way, PokerNews work and whatnot. Finally told the boss, hey man, like I don't want to go the rest of my life not playing this main event. Like I got to get back in there. And I did this year, even though it didn't go my way, I still had fun, and I'm looking forward to going back next year. And if we keep it up, if all these players, 10,000, and if we can continue to open up the online sphere, you're right, WSOP.com now has the merged market. It could be good things for poker. It is good things for poker right now. So, and right after the WSOP, not right after, but summer's going to be done, get a little break. EPT Barcelona will be there. And then at the end of the year, we get to look forward to the WPT coming back to the Wynn.
Yeah, WPT World Championship is going on December 3rd through the 23rd. That's just my favorite event of the year. Just a really special one. I don't think I can give the guarantee on it, but yeah, it's going to be another big one. Just the staff out there and just that environment at the Wynn, you can't beat. So anytime I'm there, especially playing like a big high stakes event, it's special.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Kyna, I know you're Vegas local. Like, it's a special time in the city when the WPT rolls into the Wynn. Yeah,
I like it too. I think I've been out of town like right before it, both times, but like I came back right in time to just register the last flight, and it's always a good time. It's always exciting. It feels like the main event too. So
yeah, it's nice that if you bust out level 3 like I did of a 10K, that you get to come back and have another shot the next day, because each day is a freeze out for that one.
And I think I've heard rumors that the World Series of Poker is going to return to Paradise in the Bahamas, but they might be moving it up into November as opposed to December.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, so that maybe they're not directly competing like they did last time. I don't know again, but that's just what I've been hearing. So we'll have to wait and see.
I think that would be a really good move. It's just nice to not have to split up player pools. People want to go to both series and be able to fire as much as possible. And last year was just kind of tough.
Yeah. I want to talk real quick about the 25K fantasy draft. We do an update every show, and it's been kind of blasé lately because there's the team the Dinkers is running away with this thing. They have 1,097 points, 200-point lead over the second team. So it's just there's not been a lot of movement. There might be here depending on how things go in the main event for certain players. But right now it is the team Dinkers to lose, if they maintain that lead. And as for the best performing players, Jeremy Osmus still crushing. He's still on top. He's had 361 points. The next closest, Scott Seaver with 281 points. John Riordan, Big Huni, Joao Simao, Robert Mizrahi, all over 200 points. So congratulations to them.
Josh still up there?
Josh is still up there, but he is number 22 with 140 points. So, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the David ODB fantasy, which I am a part of. I think 70 teams get paid, and right now our PokerNews team is sitting in 143rd. So we're going to need some luck if we're going to make the money. But there is a team that I'm not even going to try to pronounce on top with 1,422 points. So we'll have to wait and see. That's always fun. I can't afford 25K, but 500 for a fantasy is a lot of fun, especially we just get 5 people from PokerNews and each put up $100. So, but there was a little bit of movement for Team Lady Gaga, which is Ren Lin's team. He had Wing Po Lu on his fantasy squad, and it was Wing Po Lu who took down event number 77, the $2,500 Big Bet Mix. He won this tournament for $209,000, defeating High Park and Heads Up Play. Alex Foxen at that final table, 6th place. Andreas Korn, 5th place. Kane Callis in 4th. So he got some points for Team Lady Gaga, who finished in 2nd place, I believe, in last year's draft, and currently are in 6th place here. So they're within striking distance of making the money in the top 4, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, I want to give a quick shout out to my good friend and colleague Connor Richards, who does the Life Outside Poker podcast, where he sits down with guests to get a one-on-one, in-depth conversation going. And he recently sat down with Jungleman, Dan Cates, which is always a treat. Here's a fun story, just real quick, that happened like a week ago. Dan Cates came into the PokerNews office. I seen him look at we have this big bucket of candy, for reporters.
I don't know why I knew you were going to say candy for some reason, like looking at this candy. Go ahead, continue.
So I just seen him like glance at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, help yourself, man. And he goes over there and he starts rummaging through this candy, and I'm not even joking. He is just rummaging for 90 seconds to 2 minutes, just going we're just kind of looking at each other in the office as he's digging for something. I don't know what. And finally he stops. He's got some piece. I don't know what it was. If it was chocolate or licorice, but he just turned around and walked out. It was just, okay, that's Jungleman.
A man on a mission, man. He was looking for something specific.
Well, Connor's episode with Jungleman is out now, but I wanted to give you a little taste with a clip. Here it is.
We're doing this here at the WSOP, but you actually came over from the Bellagio. Are you playing some cash over there?
Yeah, I'm playing the casual 3K, 6K game, the mixed game. There's 12 different games. A lot of the best in the world players there. And, it's quite heated, quite tough. Probably almost got thrown out once or twice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but mostly behaving myself. 90% or so, 95%.
So does it get pretty rowdy there in Bobby's room?
Yeah, it's like super heated. Everyone's like, there's quite some big egos, and if there's some disagreements for money, they can get pretty heated. I mean, I had a very valid disagreement with somebody else. I'm convinced. I think a lot of people would say I'm in the right, really, but for now, I'm not gonna say anything. Well, I guess that got me really riled up. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it's not so unusual that there's some heat there, especially with mixed games are very prone to big egos and some spicy conflicts of sorts.
Yeah, I'm sure. Got to be big egos in that game. And in a 3K6 game limit game, what are the swings like in that game?
It's pretty, right now, actually, or today, I'm losing like 100, maybe a little less, something like that. Just 20 bets is relatively normal. Like losing 200K is like not so crazy. And you can lose 600 too. It's like kind of tough, but it's not an unusual swing in the grand scheme of things, but it's rare to experience it within 24 hours. But online, it's much more likely to happen, for instance.
All right, so there you have it. Check out Life Outside Poker podcast with Connor Richards. It is on the Poker News YouTube and any major podcast platform. Before we wrap this thing up, Kyna, you sent me a text, which I found was interesting. Something along the lines of somebody bagged the main event or some tournament and took their bag home, their bag of chips home with them.
I got around to my girl groups, and I guess some guy showed up at the table with his bag in hand and had taken it home with him and probably put it under his pillow and slept on it for safekeeping. I mean, at least your chips are safe. But we all were like, oh my God, poor guy. He's probably disqualified, right? Like he's probably kicked out of the tournament. But they were nice and they gave him a 2-round penalty.
Wow. Didn't that happen last year? Didn't like Scotty Wynn or some big name person did something similar where they should like absolutely know better? I forget who it was.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was last year or within the last few years. I know Scotty Wynn like registered for the main event and then forgot he had the chips in his hand or something.
Yeah.
It says he forgot and then went to get another, a stack from or something like that.
Yeah, I think I remember
there
that
was some sort of confusion. Yeah, that's a surprise. I guess, if he took it home, well, how does the dealer just let that happen?
Yeah. I mean, he just walks out. I mean, unless he put it in his backpack and everything, but it is sealed too.
You got to, I assume it's the first time the guy's ever bagged chips.
Yeah.
And as long as the dealer got the official, slip, because you got to give the dealers a copy of your slip, I could see why the WSOP would be like, all right, you're going to get a penalty. We're going to let this one slide. But because if, he can't just bring in his own chips if it doesn't match the slip that they have.
You can't really tamper with the bag either if it's already closed. So,
but don't take your bags home.
No,
that's not good. So, well, that's going to do it for this episode. What's going on? The World Series is closing up shop in less than 2 weeks. Kyna, you playing anything else between now and then?
I might play the closer next week, but I'm looking at those online events look pretty good. I don't know. You've just like been around people so much, going to the Horseshoe every day. I'm kind of looking forward to just like laying on my couch and playing some poker. Yeah,
I'm going to play that. I think it's a $300 mystery bounty online.
Should that will be fun. Mystery bounties are so fun.
And Brad, you got to, like you said, you get to look forward to this 25K.
Yeah, the 25K, I might take a shot. The slip and go, and then...
How many shots?
Maybe just 2, But once I get into 2, I know it's going to turn into like 10 if I don't win.
I say it could turn into a 25K.
I wonder what, like, statistically, like, how many you play that you should win one.
Well, like 1 in 9 or however many are at the table,
Is that the odds? I don't know.
I mean, how could it not be?
You get to pick a card, too, so you do have a little bit of control over your destiny. So.
Yeah, maybe 1 in 8.9.
Okay.
Well, if you don't want to pay $1,000 to do a flip and go, Poker News is actually doing them for free at our booth all summer long.
Is that right?
Yeah. So as long as 3 people go, whoever's working the booth will deal out, just like a flip and go, and then whoever wins gets to spin our prize wheel and win a corresponding prize. So they've been pretty popular. I've helped start a few. Like I've seen a couple guys sitting there and they need 3 people. So I said, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
If you want to see what a flip and go is all about, head on over to the Poker News booth at the World Series for the next 10 days before we have to tear that thing down. There's still going to be 3 more episodes of the Poker News podcast here during the 2024 World Series of Poker. We release every Tuesday and Friday at 8 a.m. So the last episode will actually record the day after the WSOP ends. So it'll be like a wrap-up show that we'll do. We'll know if Brad has won the Trifecta Alpha 8 by then. And until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.